Um, I think his ability to manage a squad has shown inexperience, but I am going to say he's also been set up for failure because he was brought in middle of the season. He did accept the job at the end of the day, yes.
He did.
He's his own man. He accepted the job, knowing what he's coming into. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, he came in into a shock. No, that it's not how it works. They've had ample amount of conversations. His management, his agency, they knew what he's getting himself into. So his management of the squad is poor, definitely poor. But I can't possibly sit here and see the manager out straight away when I'm seeing Lindelof being subbed on, Luke Shaw starting a game, you know, the
Yeah, but
bench.
he's chosen to do that though.
Well, he ain't got no options.
He does have
Now, I
options.
am going to, on the other hand, say when he's benching Xerxes, I have an issue with that.
He
Do you
does
know what
have
I'm saying?
options. He does have options. It's lies that he don't have options, bro. Because we've seen multiple other managers, yeah, use the youth, yeah, if they don't feel like the first team's up for it, bro.
That is true. So not
So
using Cheeto is a, yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
You can say what it's one thing saying you don't like
yeah.
Rasmus, but then play Cheeto then to make a statement.
Mm,
But you're
mm,
not doing that, or play someone else up front. Do you know what I'm saying? Arsenal play
mm,
Marino up front. There's no fucking excuse.
mm,
Play Bruno up front then. Play someone
mm.
else.
I
You know,
think
yeah.
low key, the fan base are okay with him being sacked the end of this season. I think this week and the next week is going to be the most pivotal week of his career and Man United's next chapter. Um, I feel like by next week they would know what they're gonna do. But then I look at things that Sir Jim has said. How much of the highest earners are available to play and this, that, the other. And I feel like they might not sack him. They might
Yeah,
just
but
be
he
like,
has to say that though. But at the end of the day, yeah, here's my thing with what Sir Jim has said. Yeah, the reason why I call bullshit on that anyway, and also don't think about the mental gymnastics, because even for instance, yeah, if Jim says that if you take away these wages, then he's dealing with a mid-table wage bill. If that's the case, then why didn't you get a manager that's used to dealing with mid-table players? Because this manager is not a manager that's used to dealing with mid-table players.
mm,
Sporting, yeah, are a team that averaged third place finish before he took over. They're one of the biggest clubs, yeah, and they've always had some of the best players in Portugal. So Manchester United being mid-table is not an equivalent to that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not an equivalent in pressure. It's not an equivalent in level of player. It's not. So it's one of them things where you would have been better off getting a Thomas Frank then if you thought that you were going to have mid-table players, because he's
mm,
more used to dealing with mid-table players and getting more out of them. The
mm.
same goes for Marco Silva or something like that.
Oh, Areola.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you wanted a manager that was going to be able to deal with a mid-table budget and overachieve, you don't go and get someone from Sporting. You don't. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Do you understand what I mean? So
Mm,
even if Jim wanted to try sell me that bullshit, which I'm not buying, even if you wanted to try sell me that, you're barking up the wrong tree anyway. You're barking up the wrong tree, because then you go and get a mid-table manager and then you're good. That is why someone like the Zerbi would have been perfect, because we
mm,
saw he got Brighton to Europe and the squad was a mid-table squad.
mm,
Like, that's it. That's the kind of manager you should have been going to get in the first place. Or you go and get someone, yeah, like a Glasnow or something like that, because he's got a mid-table squad and he's got them in the top half of the table. I believe Palace are like 8th or 9th or something like that. This
mm.
is
Well,
these are the
and in
kind
a
of,
cup competition as well.
yeah, and they're in the cup final. So these are the kind of managers you go if what you're saying to me is true, then these are the kind of managers that you target initially, at least just to get you into the first phase. And then after you get into that phase where you've got your mid-table budget and you're overachieving and you're finishing in the top 8, then if you want someone to take you to another level, then you go and get another manager after that. The next
Mm,
manager doesn't have to be here for 10 years. It's all about stages. It's all about short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals. In the short term, you need to get someone that can stabilize the club, yeah, get them performing at a certain level with a certain level of player. Amarim was never the guy to do that. He was never the guy to do that if this is what you
mm,
wanted to do. If you wanted to work with a mid-table budget, he was not the manager to go get. That
Mm.
doesn't make no sense because he hasn't proven that he can do that anywhere. He hasn't proven that he can do that anywhere. And this is my point. And this is why it's very, very important to listen to what these men are saying and then put that beside what we're seeing. Do you know what I mean? Even someone like Eddie Howe, he took over 17th place Newcastle, I believe they were 17th, and got them into the Champions League and then won a cup with them. That's a manager that can deal with a mid-table team.
Mm.
Ruben Amorim ain't done that. Ruben Amorim took a team that was finishing in on average third and won the league with them in his second season or third season. But they were averaging third anyway, Faz.
Mm.
Do you see what I mean? So it's not the same, bro. It's closer to a manager coming in now, yeah, and taking over Arsenal, who have finished second for the last 3 seasons and winning the league with them. It's like, bro, they was on the way there. They was on the way there anyway. Do you know what I mean? You just made a few
It's
tweaks.
basically what Arne Slot has done with Liverpool as well. Come in and kept everything simple,
Pretty
not
much.
overcomplicated, not played his football, not done anything mad.
Pretty
Kept
much.
the
The
winning
way they
team in
talk
and winning
about
nothing.
sporting, yeah, like these men are fucking like their man was in a relegation zone. And it's because the Portuguese fans are so passionate, yeah, because Sporting hadn't won something for so long. But they was always in the top 4. Do you get what I'm saying? So the way they talk about it, they talk about it like their man were floundering in the relegation zone,
It's
bro.
like a Bayern Munich manager going into Bayern Munich and winning the league. Like that's standard.
Come on, bro.
That's standard. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I just don't know who if I can trust Ineos to make the right decisions because as we say, we're not qualified. Are they gonna bite the bullet if he doesn't win the Europa League? And even if let's say even if he does win the Europa League, right? What targets are they gonna set for him next season? That's something I consider as well. Like looking at the shape of the league and how things have worked out. Salah staying, Van Dijk staying, Man City strengthening the way they have. Arsenal, are they going to go and get a striker to see if they can attack the league next season? Where do we fall into this mix? We still have to compete with these teams. Do we have ambitions for next season? What
But
is
this
the
is the
ambition?
problem, Faz. You asked a very, very good question. Where do we fit? That very much depends on who the coach is and how we rebuild this team. Because if we have a coach that knows how to maximize the tools at his disposal,
Mm.
then we fit into a top 6 challenge. That's where we fit in. But if we don't have the right coach, then we don't fit in. Then we're fighting to get in and stay in the top half of the table again.
Mm.
That's
Are they
that's
gonna?
the reality.
Because Ineos is, their thing was, what was it? Operation 21 by 2028 or something. I don't know,
28, yeah.
something like that. So are they gonna say, okay, next season get us into Champions League, and your target is get us into the quarterfinals minimum, get us into the semis minimum, something like that, quarters or semis. In a domestic competition, win this one, these ones you can do what you want to do, semifinals, that's cool, stuff like that. So I want to understand, and this will tell me by the type of players that we signed this summer and the players that we let go this summer. That will tell me what my club's ambitions are for next year, because they did show a little bit of ambition, with the summer that just gone. It was good. It was okay. It was a respectable summer. Um, January they tried to help him, but not enough. But then now I'm gonna really look at Ineos. Apart from the manager, apart from everything, are they gonna go and say the previous regime's mistakes we are going to correct straight away? The Rasmus, not selling Garnacho, getting money for Rashford, getting money for Anthony, all of these players, sell some of the academy players if you need to, who have had first team minutes now. They look like they might be worth a couple of million. Go and sell them for profit. Can we do these businesses with Ineos? Is what I want to see. Really, what I want to see.
I think that the signs of the players that we're being linked with are very, very positive. I'll be honest, like we're being linked with very good players. We're being linked with players at a good price point.
I don't want Delap. I don't like that link. I really do not want him.
That's fair enough. I'm a fan of Delap still. So it's one of them ones where if you don't
Don't
like
like him.
Delap, if it's not Delap, it has to be Mateta for me.
I'm
Do you know
happier
what
with
I'm saying?
Mateta. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
I just have had enough of younger strikers.
I
I
understand
really
what you're
have.
saying. I understand what you're saying, and bro, from that point of view, I completely agree. Like my first choice is Mateta, then Delap, and then Osimhen last, bro, because I don't like players like Osimhen. Do you know what I
I
mean?
hear it.
That's my personal bias. That's do you know what I mean? And I've
No,
made
no,
it
I hear it.
clear. I don't like the look of him as a footballer. So that's on me. You get me? Like it's got nothing to do with his goals or anything. I couldn't give a toss, bro. Like I don't enjoy watching him play football. I think he's a horrible footballer to
He's
watch.
got a bad touch.
Yeah, touch is bad. It's erratic. His movement is decent, yeah, but it's like I think he's very one-dimensional in it, and it's one of them ones where I would just prefer not to build a team around a player like that. That's my preference. I
Mm,
think that Mateta has got a good touch. Like, bro, he can carry the ball well as well. Like he can carry the ball. He can go past players. He's a tidy player. He can finish as well. The goal he scored against Arsenal as well. Yeah, to see the keeper off the line and do that. Yeah, it shows that he's an intelligent player and he plays with his head on the swivel. He knows what's going on around him. Showed
mm,
great awareness to score a goal like that. People look at the execution, but bro, for him to even see that in the first place, it shows you that his mind's operating at a speed that I have time for, you know.
mm,
So Mateta would be perfect in my eyes. I think he'd be a good price.
mm.
I think he's got good build. He's good at
Very
connecting,
good build. I
connecting
like
the
his
play.
build. You know.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's got good strength. He's got good enough
Mm,
pace, and I think he's a good foil for other players. Do you know what I'm saying? I think
mm,
he would be a good foil for players like Cunha or someone else to play off his link-up play and off
mm,
his runs. So I think profile-wise, I think he's brilliant. I like Liam Delap. I do understand people's concerns with the fact that he's young and they don't know if he can be the ready-made guy to come in and score goals straight away. Do you know what I mean? I'm
mm,
personally would be willing to take that risk just because I know that he's got so much potential that I would be willing to do that, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember, and obviously, I'm not comparing them in terms of ability because, like, Rooney's one of the best players we've ever seen in the Premier League. But I remember when Manchester United signed Rooney from Everton, yeah, I can't remember how many goals he scored in that season at Everton, but it wasn't loads. But we saw his potential. Do you know what I mean? He was a scorer of great goals and he wasn't a great goal scorer, but we saw that, yo, this guy has the potential to be a top player, and we took a gamble, bro, because it was a gamble, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I just seen he had 15 goals in nearly 70 appearances. Like, that's not like what you know.
That's not a great start. Yeah,
No,
it's very bad
it's
actually.
like 1 in 4, bro. Like, do you know
Very
what I'm
bad.
saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
1 in 4, bro. But man could see his talent. We didn't buy him just because he scored goals. We bought him because he was a good footballer. Do you understand what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
So it's one of them ones where you look at the fact that I think Delap is a good footballer. So I'm not just looking at Delap here, just at his goals. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at his link play. I'm looking at his willingness to run off the ball, the way he brings people into play, like the way he carries the ball and he can drive the team up the pitch. I'm not just purely looking at his goals. This is why when people are saying, for instance, like him and Osimhen are not comparable and all these other things, I'm not just looking at goals, bro. I'm looking at the all-round player, and I think the all-round player, Delap here, considering where he is right now, and I also know that he's going to improve playing in better teams with better players. I believe, yeah, that if we don't sign Delap in 2 or 3 seasons, he's £100 million striker. I'm almost confident of that. I'm so confident. £100 million striker in 2 3 years if we don't sign him. That's what I
I
see.
feel like he's a Evan Ferguson in the making. With one injury, or
Yeah,
two.
but with one injury can fuck up any footballer's career, bro.
Yeah,
They,
I
like,
just feel
what
like
happened to R9, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like one injury,
yeah.
that
No, I
was
get that.
crazy.
I get that. I just want someone who's a bit more grown and has a bit more experience at being a leader in the changing room. I think Man
But that
United
doesn't have to be
definitely
our
lack.
striker, though. That doesn't have to be our
No,
striker.
I can
That should be
understand that,
Casemiro. That should be Bruno. Do you know what I
but
mean? That
these
could be
these
Delete.
players
That
we
doesn't have
believe
to
in.
be our striker, though. That can be
These
Bruno
players,
Casemiro.
yeah, but Bruno's and Casemiro's, they're getting on as well themselves. I want
That's
someone around
fine.
the 25,
Delete as
20,
well. Delete's
27 age.
24. Delete's 24, 25, and he's a leader, bro.
But
Like,
if I'm
you know what I
looking
mean?
at Man United's front line next season, and I look at Ahmad, who's a younger player, developing
Ahmad
really
will be
well.
wing back under this manager.
Okay, so let's say Ahmad wing back, you know, Dogu on the other side, cool, or whoever on the other side as a wing back. You've got Mino and Xerxes, let's say,
Or
as
Cunha,
two
bro.
tens,
Cunha will be a
or
fucking leader.
Cunha
He's a
and Xerxes.
scumbag,
Yep.
bro. He's a
Cunha.
scumbag. He's a
Huh?
proper scumbag, Cunha, bro. That's why I like him, bro. Do you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
Cunha
He'll
and
come into the team with the arrogance, yeah, and everything. He'll step into that team like he owns the place, bro. That's what he'll
but then
do.
you look at Liam Delap leading that line. It
Mm.
doesn't fill me with excitement, and it doesn't fill me
Bro, we
with
don't need excitement, bro. We need cohesion. We don't need excitement, bro. This is the problem with a lot of modern football fans. They want to be excited. I don't want to be excited by names. I want to be excited by the football I see.